Welcome to our next virtual cooking demo sponsored by Nature's Food Patch in downtown Clearwater. Today we are going to make an oyster mushroom etouffee. And where this came about is several years ago we traveled to New Orleans and really loved the Cajun and Creole selection of foods. So today we're modifying what would typically be made with maybe shrimp or crawfish, and we're going to use oyster mushrooms. So oyster mushrooms are available at Nature's Food Patch in the produce department. However, they were out the day I went. So the gentleman in the produce department showed me this lovely display of all different types of dried mushrooms. So these are oyster mushrooms, which I reconstituted by simmering them in boiling water for 10 minutes. And the beauty of using dried is they won't spoil as quick, so you can leave them in your pantry and use them whenever you would like. Another great advantage of using the dried is I actually saved the liquid that they simmered in. So today I'm going to use this for my broth in my dish. So today, if we were using fresh mushrooms, the recipe calls for 16 ounces. I used 4 of these bags, which are 0.75 ounces. But when you reconstitute them, then they get larger. So 4 of these bags equals 1 pound of the fresh mushrooms. So we're going to start by sauteing our onions and our garlic. So I've got 1 yellow onion here, and I've got 2 cloves of garlic. And an etouffee means smothered. So as opposed to a stew that would cook for a long time or something that you would saute like a stir fry, this one we're actually going to cook for 20 minutes. So the first step is just to get our pan hot. And I don't know if you can hear my onion sizzling or not. We're not using any oil. So we're just sauteing onions and garlic. And then we're making a roux. And to do that, you need flour. So I have some gluten-free flour. So this recipe will be gluten-free, soy-free, oil-free. This is available in the bulk section at Nature's Food Patch. So this is gluten-free flour. So I'm going to add my flour to my pan, and we're going to let that flour actually brown just for maybe a minute. And this will form our roux. And we're also using from the bulk section today brown rice. We will be serving this dish over brown rice, which has cooking in my Instapot behind me. So I'm going to add my organic green pepper, as well as 2 stalks of organic celery. And again, I'm using organic celery because on the Dirty Dozen list, which is available in the store in the produce aisle, celery is one of the 12 on the Dirty Dozen, which if you're not familiar with that, it's the 12 produce items every year that are identified containing the most pesticides. So I'm browning my vegetables with my flour. And at this point, I'm going to start slowly adding my broth. So I'm actually going to use a combination of some low sodium vegetable broth, but I also want to use this beautiful broth that I simmered my dried mushrooms in. So the trick is to add the liquid a little bit at a time so that the flour acts as a thickening agent, and that will be our gravy, if you will. So I'm adding a little bit of the broth at a time, and then when it gets thick, I add a little more. So we're going to add a total of 2.5 cups of this broth. add some more of my vegetable broth.
Mushroom broth.
I'm also going to add my spices, which today we're using some Old Bay seasoning, available in the spice aisle at Nature's Food Patch. We're also using some Creole seasoning, and we're also using dulse granules. This is a seafood product, and it's a salt alternative, and it's a great source of iodine, which everyone needs. So again, everything we're using today is available at the store. So we're starting, this is thickening up really nice. I'm going to add my spices to my dish. And I'm not going to add any salt because there is salt in the Creole seasoning. So I don't really need to add any additional salt. So I'm going to add some more of my mushroom broth to my dish. It's already starting to smell really good. And then while that's simmering, I'm going to add 1 can of fire roasted, diced, no salt added Muir Glen tomatoes. And these are my favorite brand of tomatoes. And again, just be very cautious of the sodium content of what you're using. And I always like to get everything out of that can. So I'm going to take some of my mushroom broth, pour it in my can, and then I'm going to clean out the inside of my can, get all of that good stuff. So we don't want to waste any of that. So I'm going to let this come to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. I'm going to add 1 bay leaf, which is available in the bulk spice section of Nature's Food Patch. And we're going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes. So we'll be back with you once this is simmered. I need to put my mushrooms in. So let's add our mushrooms. So again, here are our mushrooms, which have been reconstituted. I'm going to add those to my pan. And I'm going to stir this up to incorporate it all. I'm making this in my electric skillet. You could actually make this on top of the stove in a big Dutch oven or a very large frying pan. So I'm actually going to put my lid on this and let it simmer for 20 minutes. All right, our etouffee has smothered for 20 minutes. So I'm going to give it a little final stir.
Okay.
And if you prefer more spice, then you could always add a jalapeno pepper to your vegetables when we added the green bell pepper and the onion. And for condiments today, we've got some fresh lemon wedges, we've got some parsley, and we've got some green pepper hot sauce. This is Cholula brand. This is jalapeno and poblano. So again, if you're not a fan of spice, you don't need to use this. This is available in the condiment section at Nature's Food Patch. So we're going to serve our etouffee over some brown rice. And again, I purchased the brown rice in the bulk section of the store. And typically brown rice would take 45 minutes to cook on top of your cooktop. However, I fixed this in my Instapot. It was 22 minutes. So just a little time saving tip. So I'm going to take some of my rice, and again, this is just long grain Lundberg family brown rice.
Where'd you get that?
So I've got some rice, And then I'm going to put my etouffee on top of my rice. Let me get a rag to clean up my dish so our presentation looks beautiful. Again, we always eat with our eyes first, so we want a beautiful presentation. I'm going to add just a little bit of our green pepper hot sauce on the top. And then I'm going to add a little bit of fresh parsley. And a couple wedges of lemon. I'll actually squeeze one on there, and we'll leave the others in there for personal preference taste. Just a little bit of fresh lemon juice. So here is our finished product. Again, oyster mushroom etouffee, and we're going to do a little taste test. So again, brown rice, our etouffee, which has simmered for 20 minutes. Oh, this is good. Wish you guys could taste it. Wish you could smell it. So again, everything that we use today is available at Nature's Food Patch. The recipe will be posted underneath the video. The store is open daily. You can shop in the store. However, if you prefer not to go to the store, you can click on the link on their website to use Instacart and either do a curbside pickup or no contact delivery. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please share the video, share the recipe. Again, make the recipe your own. These are always just a template for you to go off of. And we will see you next month for a no chicken noodle soup. Stay well and be safe. Thank you for watching.